Identification confirmed.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Transmission begins from monitoring.
Morning, sir.